All right, welcome back. The Biden White House implementing straight Marxist equity right into our federal government. Biden signing an executive order to implement each government agency with an equity team, imposing the anti-American equality of outcome as they continue their war on equal opportunity and merit in this country. The executive order is inherently racist to the core, of course. It's wrapped in an equitable camouflage, though, so you don't notice it. Conservative radio host Larry Elder joins me now. Sir, it's good to have you back on. You're a black man. Biden obviously created this policy with your vote in mind. I'm sure you already knew that. Your response to this?
Well, the word equity is a cover term for, frankly, discrimination. And I believe that this order is probably a violation of the 14th Amendment, will likely be challenged in courts, and the challenger will likely win. It's insulting. The premise, of course, is that America is systemically racist, and that the inequities that some people of color are suffering has to do with the discrimination that still takes place in America, when it's nonsense. The biggest inequity, the one they never want to talk about, Rob, is the fact that 70% of black kids enter the world without a father in the home married to the mother. All these other disparities, crime, dropouts, some of the social problems we talk about, all stem from that. They don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about the symptoms. They don't want to talk about the cause. Yeah. And this whole nonsense about inequity has led to real serious bad things. For example, the police are accused of being systemically racist, and as a result, you've got something called the George Floyd effect or the Ferguson effect, where cops are pulling back, they're not being proactive, and as a result, you're finding more homicides, more violent crime in the very black and brown communities that people on the left claim they care about, all in the name of, you got it, equity.
Yeah. And you're not looking at the problem, so you're not doing anything to solve the problem. All you're doing is just installing certain people that may or may not be qualified for the job into positions while the problem just continues to be exacerbated, gets worse and worse and worse. And how much damage are they doing to the American psyche with all of this? When you, for political reasons, obviously, convince millions of people that they are victims and the country has been rigged against them.
Well, it means, what's the point of working hard? Why should you bust your butt? Why should you put in 2-3 good hard hours of homework every night? Because after all, the man's going to hold you back. And we've seen the consequences of this kind of nonsense. Out here in California, the most prestigious public high school is called Lowell High School. Because a large percentage of the student body was Asian American, this was clearly not good for them. So they went to another system, and they found out that the kids that got into that school couldn't keep up, had a much higher dropout rate. There was a lawsuit, and now they've gone back to a merit-based system. Same thing with Thomas Jefferson, arguably the finest public high school in America, in Virginia. A large percentage of the student body, Asian America. That's not acceptable. It's interesting how Asian Americans are minorities until they do well, then they stop being minorities.
Isn't that so? Yeah, that's the moment that you lose the protected status. Once you figure it out, if you have everything together, they've got nuclear family, they focus on education, they do all those things right, they succeed, and then they become vilified by the left, which is it's so interesting how that happens. Here's Susan Rice, Obama's an Obama holdover, with a White House virtual national briefing on equity the day that Biden signed that executive order.
It's my pleasure to kick off today's national briefing on equity. As I hope you've seen earlier this morning, President Biden signed a new executive order to further advance racial equity. This work gets to the heart of our success as a nation. Despite what some politicians may say about equity efforts, the truth is, when we lift each other up, we all benefit.
Your response.
By the way, Rob, where is this equity when it comes to, I don't know, the NBA, the NFL, where 70% of the players have to be black? Yeah. It only happens here. Whatever happened to merit? Whatever happened to Martin Luther King's edict that we ought to be judging people based upon the content of character, not the color of skin? The left doesn't want a colorblind society. They want a color-coordinated one, provided they're the ones who are doing the coordinating.
Yeah, no, you're right. And you know what? The left is a major reason, one of the major culprits of eviscerating the black community in this country. So rather than take responsibility for what they've done, this is how they're going to blame shift, throw it at something else, blame capitalism, blame whatever. It's such a despicable game they're playing. And now they're doing it in every agency of government. Larry Elder, always good to see you, sir. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.